Alright, taking a look here at Cade Farraget. Here's obviously Cade swings here at the top, two different swings here at the top. This is Miggy Cabrera and Adrian Gonzalez on the bottom here. Alright, taking a look here at Cade's setup and stance. He's loose and comfortable. He's relaxed. There's certainly an athleticism to his setup and his overall swing. Just take a look at the full swing here. Okay, so here in his setup and his stance, I like that he's loose and relaxed, and there's certainly a comfort there. When we look at the stance, with the feet, we want to see the toes working straight ahead, and they are here with the knees, bent slightly and in between the feet with the bend at the waist, which brings the butt out a bit, and that setup in the lower half looks really good. We want the head and eyes level, and that's good there. He's carrying his hands, especially right here, maybe a little higher than you would want. And then, right as he goes to kind of launch it, he does have the bat pretty flat back here, and then tends to, kind of put in a position to where once he begins to load that back arm, he's going to wrap it a little bit. So I would prefer a lighter, more vertical bat with the hands just a little lower there. So I would adjust that right hand position just a little bit. When he gets started there. Alright, again, when we look at the swing, we look at three main areas: the back leg, back arm, and the front side. Okay, we'll start with the back leg, and the back leg has two simple purposes. You got to load the back leg, and then you've got to unload the back leg. Okay. And that really is simply the muscles here at the top of the leg loading and then pressing or driving sideways, laterally into the direction of the ball. And again, like we talked about, it's important to understand why are we taking this step. Well, the whole step is about when we lift the foot, the back leg is loaded, and then we want to begin to unload that back leg in the direction of the pitch. We want to begin that unloading process before the heel drops. We want to be unloading into heel plant. Okay? So that load and unload that's why we're striding. So the more we can make the stride about the back leg and not about the front leg, the better. In other words, when we get that leg ready, that pulls the front foot up, and as we unload it, it puts it down. Okay? One of the things that I notice right off the bat with Cade is there's a lot of intent to not so much drive with the back leg but turn it. Okay, and you can see here how Cade's back foot is already really kind of turned over. When you compare that to Adrian's and Miggy's, the foot isn't forced over as quickly, and you can also see his foot is staying in the same place. There's not the evidence of a driving action that we see in the other guys. Again, the foot sliding forward isn't what's important. What's important is that we drive off the back leg, but usually some slight forward movement of the back foot is good evidence there. When I see a back foot that isn't sliding forward, and then we're shoelaces have turned over very quickly like that, then that tells me his intent is to turn the leg as opposed to drive with the leg. Okay, so again, we certainly with Cade have more of an intent to turn that leg or spin the foot as opposed to drive off the leg, and that's going to kind of work its way up. If you're thinking about spinning your foot or spinning your leg, then the upper is going to start opening up and turning too soon. And anytime we don't get a quality driving contribution from that back leg, then the upper body compensates. We start using the upper body too much and too soon. Okay, so again, a real simple focus of loading that back leg and unloading that back leg on every pitch we see, whether we swing or not, for the rest of our life, is what I try to tell the kids, is that leg is going to load before release, and it's going to unload as the first move at the ball on every pitch they see for the rest of their life. Okay, so, and there is some drive there, obviously. There is some contribution there from the back leg, but we don't really see a real good driving contribution before that front heel gets down. Okay, and you really notice how sideways and how long, you know, their feet stay sideways as opposed to how quickly his is turning over. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and move to the front side, and that kind of starts again with that front foot. If we take the body and we slice it in half, you know, really the front side from the foot all the way up, and we're trying to hit against or behind that front side, and that front side is going to tell us how well we're braced up and how well we're transferring there. So let's start with the front foot, and you can see Cade's front foot, kind of the first move is to kind of step out. If you can kind of compare where his toe starts to where it lands, he steps out and then the toe points out towards the pitcher. Okay, so this is very common, and I call this kind of the spinny feet, you know, syndrome, where a kid's first move is to spin his front foot open, and then his second move is to spin his back foot. Okay, and we want to get rid of that. If you look at Adrian and Miggy, you can see how square and sideways the feet stay, you know, well after their stride is completed. Okay, whereas his feet, you know, the front foot's already turned open, and now he's worried about turning the back when Cade is here. Okay, so we got to start this, you know, stop spinning the feet. Okay, and here we're getting a pretty significant, you know, step outward as his toe kind of starts right on the line, and then it kind of bails open there. Okay, you can see how nice and square we are here. So we really just want to work with those feet. You know, what I like to tell the kids is sideways. You know, so this is a real simple load and then sideways press or unload, and the feet stay parallel. You know, when this foot is down, you want to see this knee stabilize well behind the front foot. It should land bent and square, but it shouldn't continue to bend. Okay, so a bent but firm front leg with the knee well behind the foot, and you know, him opening up here certainly puts the knee in a position where it's easier to bend. But Cade does a pretty good job of keeping it firm there and stabilizing the knee to where the knee doesn't slide or shift, and he winds up, you know, providing a pretty good base there with regard to that front leg to hit behind. But we certainly do need to calm that front foot down. What I like to tell the kids also is basically that front leg should land the same way you started it. You know, Cade starts it with the foot square and the knee bent. When he lands, you know, that foot should still be square with the knee bent. The back leg is going to pull it up, push it forward, and put it down. If you kind of look at Adrian there, you can kind of see the back leg pulls it up, pushes it forward, and puts it down. But again, that's the position that we want. Okay. Now, as you look at the torso, as we move up a little bit, you can see how vertical his torso is when you compare it to, you know, Adrian's. We see a you know, slightly more tilted torso here. Miggy, you can see it also a little more tilt there. Okay, and a lot of that's related to the back leg contribution. Okay, you tend to see this real vertical torso on kids that aren't really driving. It's hard to have quality tilt if the back leg doesn't drive. And that again is because the upper body has to do too much. It starts turning too much and too soon. Whereas if we use the back leg, the upper body is more bracing and transferring as opposed to trying to supply the energy. Okay, so we get this nice tilted position, whereas Cade is more vertical there.